Hello, George. So we'll be taking up maths. We'll be solving questions based on one of the papers chosen from 11 plus past papers. We'll begin after 15 minutes. Bye-bye. Yeah. Well, yes, a very good evening to all of you. I would request you to please confirm that you all are ready, and we'll be beginning in a few minutes. So before starting with the session, I would request you to please be ready with your notebook and a pen or pencil, whatever you prefer, in order to practice questions. Thank you. Great. So I hope we can begin with the session. Yes, everyone's ready. Please give a thumbs up. Okay, so yes, before beginning with the questions, let's first set some ground rules. Let's have some instructions read. So here today we are going to be solving the most frequently asked questions from one of the past papers for 11 plus maths exam. So we have this guided mock session wherein we need to read the questions really carefully. We'll mark down the key words and analyze the questions before solving them. So yes, for reading, I'll be helping you out. I'll be reading them aloud and marking the keywords too. We'll take a minute or two to analyze the questions and then discuss the solutions. I would request your full participation during this session, so kindly send your answers in the chat. Yes, that would facilitate one-on-one conversation with all of you. If you have any doubts, you may message me in the chat. We can discuss that part too. I would request you to not use calculator throughout the session. Please do not seek any external help too from your family members or the internet. Try solving all the questions on your own. If in case you aren't able to, I'm always there to help you out. Ensure that your video quality is at least 720p for better clarity. So yes, I hope we can begin with the questions. Great, I'm receiving all the responses. That's really nice. Thanks, Sienna. Thanks, Potato, Bushra, Naomi. Okay, great. I hope everyone's ready. So yes, here comes your first question. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Re-verify answers before submitting them in the chat. I'll increase the zoom percentage in order to have a better clarity of the questions. So yes, here comes your first question, wherein we need to evaluate the following. A basic hint for everyone, we need to use BidMass. Take your time. There are 3 questions. We'll start discussing after 2 minutes. Okay, great. So yes, I can see everyone is submitting the answers. I would request Bola to kindly not keep typing the answers again and again. I've received your response, and yes, I acknowledge it. Please do not keep repeating, the messages. Yes, please don't spam the chat. This is an instruction for all of you to kindly follow the ground rules that have been set. Okay, so yes, let's start discussing. So, according to bed mass, the precedence level, the precedence part that we follow is brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So here, based on the first question we'll be taking up multiplication first. So that will make it 4 plus 3 times 7 is 21. Then we have addition, that is 4 plus 21 is 25. So this will give you the answer to be 25. Very good to all of you. Moving on to the next question. According to bed mass, we'll take up division first. Yes, so that will make this part to be 4. 24 divided by 6 is 4 plus 2. That will give us 6. So answer will be 6. Moving on to the third question. Here again, we have division part that will give us 18 divided by 2 is 9 times 3, which is equal to 27. I hope that's clear. Yes, very good. So moving on to the next question of the day. All the best. This is based on geometry, wherein we need to carefully observe the angles, the following two angles. One has been displayed right now. We need to find what type of angle is angle A. Yes, take a minute. You may submit your responses in the chat. Okay, great. So yes, receiving responses, we can start discussing. So yes, based on the figure that has been given to us, this kind of angle is a reflex angle. And why is it so? Because the measure of reflex angle is more than 180 degrees and less than 360 degrees. I hope this is clear, and this clearly indicates that this angle is more than 180. If I draw a straight line here, so we carefully observe, this one will be more than 180. So yes, reflex angle is always greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. Moving on to the next question. We need to find out the value of angle B. Take your time. We need to consider these lines as the initial and terminal arm. Great. So yes, let's start discussing. So here, if we carefully observe, this one is the initial arm, right? So we'll consider this as the base, and this one is the terminal arm. So if we carefully observe, the angle that has been taken is how much? This is 130 degrees. This one would be 1, 2, and 3. So that makes it 133 degrees. Very good, all of you. I hope that's clear. Please give a thumbs up. Amazing. Moving on to the next question of the day. We need to find out what fractions of these shapes are shaded. Take your time. Okay, so yes, let's start discussing. Very good. Applaud to all of you. You all are participating in the discussion. You're putting up your answers in the chat. That's a good thing. Okay, so yes, let's start. So if we carefully observe the total number of boxes, in this grid are how much? 6 times 2, right? That is 12. So our denominator part will be 12. That's for sure. Now let's count the number of squares which have been shaded. So starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that will make us 6 squares which have been shaded. So now we can reduce this because 6 and 12, they both appear in the table of? Absolutely right, 6. So if we reduce this fraction, we'll be getting how much? 1 over 2. That is our answer. A big star for all of you. Very good. Moving on to the next question. Take your time. Okay, so yes, we can start discussing. So the very first thing that we'll do is we'll divide this part. So yes, we can divide this shape in this way. Yes. So if we carefully observe, the number of sides here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, these are the number of parts. So our denominator will be 8. Now, let's check how many parts are shaded. 1, 2, and 3. So that will make it 3. 3 over 8. That will be our answer. Very good, all of you. Moving on to the next question. Yes. Here are some numbers. So if you carefully observe, this is a kind of, diagrammatic question wherein we'll be asked questions based on this part. Yeah, the numbers which have been encircled. We need to answer the following questions. So yes, there are 2 sub-questions. The first one is write down all the numbers which are prime. The next one is we need to write down all the numbers which are square numbers. I hope we all are aware about square numbers. A number, when multiplied with itself, is a square number. Take your time, we'll start discussing after 2 minutes. Okay, so starting with the discussion. I hope everyone is done. Yes, let's start discussing. So the very first question is we need to write down all the numbers that are prime. So what are prime numbers? Prime numbers are those kind of numbers which have only 2 divisors, that is 1 and the number itself. So here, starting with the list that we have, 8 has more than 2 divisors. Yes, 2, 4. So 8 cannot be on the list. Then we have 9, that also cannot be on the list. 13, Yes, because 13 has only two divisors, 1 and 13 itself. Then moving on to 14, no, because it has more than two divisors. For example, 2, 7, 1, 14. Then we have 16. 16 again has more than two divisors, 2, 8, 4. Then we have 17, which has only two divisors, that is 1 and 17 itself. So yes, the most appropriate answer is going to be 13 and 17. Moving on to the next question, that we need to write down all the numbers which are square numbers. So here again, if we carefully observe, a number when multiplied with itself gives you a square number, right? So if we carefully observe, 9 is basically 3 times 3 and 16 is 4 times 4. So the two numbers will be 9 and 16. That should be our answer. I hope we are clear with the solution. Yes. Great. Moving on to the next question of the day. We need to write the following numbers in order from largest to smallest. Take your time. Okay, Sienna and Naomi, I would request you to kindly, focus on solving the questions rather than arguing. Yes. Please maintain the order and kindly solve, and I'm expecting your answers. Yes. Very good, Nirav. Nirav is the first one to respond to this question. Amazing. Waiting for your responses quickly, everyone. Okay, so yes, we can start discussing. So let's consider, yes, which one would be the first one? Largest. So yes, the largest one will be 0.45. Then we'll be having next one to be 0.415. Always remember, whenever there's a decimal number, we pronounce, we read the number individually after the decimal point. Always remember that. So this can be read as 0.415. Moving on to the third number, it's 0.4050. Yes. And then, yeah, very good. 0.401, and the last one will be, the smallest one will be 0.045. I hope we are clear. Great. Moving on to the next question. We need to complete the number sentence. There's a calculation given to us. We need to find out what will be the unknown terms. Take your time. Yes, moving towards the discussion for this question. So here, if we carefully observe, 12 times 4 is 48. So now what number should be instead of the blank in order to make this true? So dash plus 10 gives us 48. So the right option will be 38. Very good. Moving on to the next one. 48 is equal to 63 minus dash. So what number when subtracted from 63 gives you 48? Yes, the right answer is 15. Absolutely right. Very good, everyone. Moving on to the next question. Here again, we need to evaluate the following. So take your time. There are 3 questions in all. Yeah, I hope that's visible to everyone. We'll start discussing after 2 minutes. Kindly ensure for fractions, whenever we add or subtract, we need to ensure that the denominators are same. Great. So yes, I hope we can start with the discussion. So here we have the first question, that is 1 over 6 plus 1 over 3. So if we carefully observe, I'll write this down, 1 over 6 plus 1 over 3. We do not have the denominators common, so we'll have to, yes, make them common. So accordingly, 6 and 3, they both appear in 3's table. So we'll just multiply 3 by 2, and since we are multiplying the denominator, we'll also have to multiply the numerator. So this will give us 1 over 6 plus 2 over 6. That is 1 plus 2 over 6, which is 3 over 6. We can further reduce this fraction and we'll get 1 over 2 as a final answer. Very good. Moving on to the next question. Again, in order to make the denominators common, if we carefully observe 5 over 6 minus 1 over 9. Yes. So we can take up, their LCM, that is 18. Yes, so we'll have to multiply 6 by 3. Similarly, 5 by 3. This by 2. This by 2. So we'll get 15 over 18 minus 2 over 18, which is basically 15 minus 2 over 18. That gives us 13 over 18. That's our answer. I hope we are clear with the steps. Amazing. Moving on to the third part. Here, if we carefully observe, it's multiplication. So we can quickly cancel out 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 times 2 is 10. We have 1 times 3 over 2, which is basically 3 over 2. That's our answer. Amazing. Very good, everyone. Moving on to the next question. Here we have a word problem. Party hats come in packs of 8. LZ has 42 party hats. Work out the exact value of 42 divided by 8. And what is the smallest number of packs of party hats LZ could have bought? Take your time. We'll start discussing after 2 minutes. Yes, Binuka, the session will last up till 7 p.m. So it's around 20 more minutes. Okay, so yes, we can start discussing. So the very first thing is we need to work out the exact value of 42 divided by 8, which means we'll get, since 42 is not fully divisible by 8, we'll get a decimal quotient. So yes, let me make the division part here. So 42 divided by 8. I hope we are all aware about 8's multiplication table. That's, write it down quickly for all of us to refer from. So we have the very first one, 5 times 8 gives us 40, yes, 8 times 5. So that will be 5 times 8, which gives us 40, and the remainder is 2. Now we'll put up a decimal point. So since we have put up a decimal point, we have the freedom of adding 1 0. Yes, so that makes it 8 times 2 is 16, which gives us the remainder to be 4. Since we have already put up a decimal point, we can add 1 0 here. So that is 8 times 5 again, which will give you 40. So the answer here is going to be 5.25. I hope that's clear. I'll write it down. 5.25. So what is the smallest number of packs of party hats she could have bought? So if we carefully observe what, the operation that we need to do here is division, and that was basically 42 divided by 8, which is 5.25. And it's not possible to buy this pack. So we'll have to, move it to 6, right? So this will be 6 packs. This is the smallest number of packs she could have bought. I hope that's clear. Yes. Moving on to the next question. I hope you all are enjoying the session. Moving on to this one, yes. We have a box of sweets costs 2.17 pounds. Charlotte bought 3 boxes of sweets with 10-pound note. How much change does she receive? Take your time. Okay, so yes, we can start discussing. So here we have a box of sweet which costs 2.17 pounds. Yes, so if we convert this part into pence, 2.17, it becomes 217 pence, right? Since we already know 1 pound is 100 pence. So now she buys 3 boxes, which means we'll have to multiply 217 by 3. That gives us 651. Am I right? Now we need to subtract 1000 by 651. And why is it so? We are considering a 10-pound note, yeah, which she has. And if we convert it, we'll get 1000 pence. So yes, if we subtract, let me show you stepwise. So that becomes 10, which is 9, 4, 9 again, that is 3. 349, yes. And 349 pence in terms of pounds becomes 3.49. I hope that's clear. Very good, all of you. Moving on to the next question. Yes. The shape below is made from 2 rectangles. Find the perimeter of the shape. Take your time. So yes, let's start discussing this question. So in order to first calculate the perimeter is basically the addition of all the sides of the given shape. So yes, here, in order to calculate the perimeter, we need to know these two. sides? So yes, in order to calculate this one, what will it be? This will be basically 9 minus 6, am I right? By considering this part and this part, which will give you 3 centimeters. So let me write this down here. For more better clarity, this is 3 centimeters. Moving on to the next one, this one. So this one will be 12 minus 4. 12 minus 4, which will give us 8 centimeters. I hope we are clear with this. 8 centimeters. So now what will be the perimeter? Addition. So it will be 4 plus 3 plus 8 plus 6 plus 12 plus 9. And everything will be in terms of centimeters. If you add this up, you'll get the answer to be how much? Let's do this quickly. This was 7. This makes it 14. Plus this makes it 21. Again, if we add this up, this will be 21 plus 21, which gives you 42 centimeters. Very good. Moving on to the next question. We need to find out area of the given triangle. Take your time. Consider the grid. Yes, I hope we can start discussing. So here, the very first thing that we need to consider is what is area of a triangle. The formula for area of a triangle is half times base times height. So in order to find out what is the base and the height, we'll consider the grid. So here, if we consider this as a height, so this one is basically how much? 4 units. And since this is the height considered, we'll have this as the base, which is equal to, I believe, 7 units. Yeah. And here it has been stated that 1 square is 1 centimeter square. So what we can do here is we can write down 4 centimeters and 7 centimeters. So this will give you your base. Let's quickly calculate it. 12 half times 7 times 4. So we cancel this out. 2 times 1 and 2 times 2. That will give us 14. And since this is area, the unit is going to be square units. So that would be centimeter square. I hope we are clear. Great. Yes. Moving on to the next question. Yes. Take your time. We need to fill in the gaps in these sequences. So there are these sequences given to us. We need to find out which one, which ones are missing. Take your time. Yes, starting with the first one, this first sub question that we have, that is 24-6-3-. If we carefully observe here, we need to keep dividing it by 2, right? So if we divide 3 by 2, we'll get 1.5, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. So these are the two unknowns for the sequence. Take your time for the next one. Starting with the next question here, if you carefully observe, 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. So what would be the next term? Plus 8, which will give us 22. Very good, everyone. Yes, take your time for the third one. I would request all of you to kindly stop talking amongst yourself and solve the question so that we can discuss the solution for the third one. So here, if you observe, it's 2.8 and the next term after 2 blanks is 5.2. So if we can take this one, and there are how many gaps? There are 3 gaps. So if we divide it by 3, so what answer you will get? It will be, yes, 2.4 divided by 3, which is 0.8. So you need to keep adding 0.8. So if you add this, this will give you 3.6. Yes. Again, plus 0.8 will give you how much? 4.4. Absolutely right. Very good. So this one plus 0.8 will give you how much? 6. So yes. I hope we are clear with the solution. Please give a big thumbs up. Great. So yes, this was the last question of this session. Thanks a lot. So please subscribe to the channel so as to receive more such content. I would request you to visit the website too in order to find out some more resources related to 11 plus maths exams, as well as we also have content related to verbal reasoning, English, non-verbal reasoning. Yes? Okay. Thanks a lot.